Check one, check one. Can you hear me now?
No audio.
Okay, I think I got it fixed.
You want this closed?
Sure. I just need some. Okay, we can hear you now. All right, yay, great. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. Somebody keeps coming in here and pressing a button. Okay, can you hear that? Okay, we're still hearing, so that's good. All right. Whew. So many buttons. All right, so we're all here. Let's see who's here today. Hey, everybody, it's Mike Meyers. It's only, 2:02? It only took me a minute to fix that problem. I'm happy. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Mike Meyers Ask Mike Anything live stream. The goal of this live stream is to provide those of us who are isolated by the coronavirus an opportunity to continue our studies on CompTIA certifications. We concentrate on A+, Net+, Security+, but we can certainly go outside of that within the world of CompTIA, and we can even go into non-CompTIA certifications as well, technical topics, and pretty much almost anything you want to talk about as long as you keep it clean. So, welcome aboard. Basically, the system here works pretty straightforward. You ask me questions and I answer it. We start at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we will run until 3 o'clock. So this is a 1-hour show. And in that time period, you ask me questions and I answer them. The best way to ask me questions is just type them right in here into the chat window. While you're in the chat window, go ahead and change the top chat to live chat. Just hit the pull down there, and you might want to consider pulling the chat window completely out. Some people like to do it. It's a matter of personal choice. But you do want to move to live chat because we're going to have a competition for free practice questions and a free CompTIA voucher today. So we need to make sure, if you have that live chat, it makes it a little bit easier. It improves your chances. So anytime you see me looking over here, folks, it's because I'm reading the thing. Let's see if anything's happening here. CW Hamster. Hello, all in the middle of Mike's CompTIA A Plus. Have his textbook. He's the best. Thank you, CW Hamster. I sure do appreciate it. Brian Baggs. Look at all these compliments today. Get out of here, you big lugs. Brian Baggs working on this. CW. Brian Baggs. Brett Peterson. Good to see you. Soon to be 56 and trying to break in the IT field. Get out of the way, youngster. You're 4 years younger than me. I got to tell you, listen, I'm going to warn you guys right now. All you people out there who are young, and by young, I mean anybody younger than me, so 59 and below, it's amazing. I'm going to tell you right now, when you turn 60, your brain is still going to be 19 years old. Just know that. All of a sudden, you're going to be going, why am I out of shape, and how come I can't walk up a flight of steps? I remember the first thing that I gave away to old age. You guys ready? When I'd go swimming, there would always be these ropes, and you grab a rope and swing out into the water. And I got to the point where I was too weak. I was like, I'm going to be swinging on a rope again. And I'm going to be swinging on a rope in 2022, kids. You can't see it, but old Mikey Boy's lost a ton of weight already, and he's back in. I'm back on the wagon big time. All right, let's see who else is here. Alan Duggan's here. Hey, Alan, good to see you, brother. Brian Baggs, I will be 34 next week. I've been using computers since I was 11. Excellent, excellent. Will Shaw, good to see you again there. Heavy D. Potato slice. Volume, yeah, we're all fixed now. Joe Lumberjack, everybody's yelling at me for sound. No, I do, honestly, guys, when I have typos, technical errors like that, I really lean on you guys saying stuff like no sound or things like that. The reason you couldn't hear anything, Alexandra, is because I didn't turn on the microphone. Yeah, this is always the thing that you run into these techs who are like so good at diagnosing just about anything, And I've always been a little envious of those guys. But if you ever watch the IT crowd, they're really good because one of the things in the IT crowd I really like, it's probably the most famous line from the television series is, have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again? And it's funny, but it's also the right answer on so many things. Make sure it's off and then turn it back on again. I know, it's not exciting. This is always big challenge. I'll meet somebody who's new in IT, especially if they're doing systems repair, like trying to get hard drives working or diagnosing RAM and stuff like that. And the first thing that so many people tell me, they go, what's my toolbox? They want to go out and spend all this money on tools. And the answer is in terms of actual tools for system stuff, I mean, there's the occasional postcard maybe and some software, but here it goes. But for the most part, I don't have any tools. And people are always like, how could that be, Why don't you have any tools? I go, well, tools are all pretty well built in. If you know Windows or Linux, the operating systems pretty much have the tools you need. You just know how to use those tools. Well, where's your... But a lot of people, even when I say that, that makes them unhappy. Because they expect me to have this big suitcase that I open up and it has all these tools and oscilloscopes, and it's just like, it's not really how PCs are fixed anymore, man. I'm losing my earpieces. $120 for Galaxy Pro earbuds. I am not going to lose those things. All right. Alexandra, loved my LinkedIn learning class. Thank you, Alexandra. Alex James, just got your Net Plus course on Udemy. Amazing. Super engaged. Yeah, thanks, man. I try really hard to make amusing. If you can't entertain while you're instructing, I think you're in danger. I mean, that's always the challenge I always have, like certain competitors of mine who do lots of videos they're all a little bit notorious about not really being entertaining. So I like to entertain. The Farm Bee. All right. Wilson's back. Good to see you. CW Hamster. Okay. How does the network, here we go, 2:06 p.m. How does the network support bunches of schools on computers from home on and off without overloading? How does the network support bunches? CW, I'm trying to figure out what you're asking me here. 2:06 p.m. CW Hamster. How does the network support bunches of schools on computers from home on and... Oh, I think it... So how can a computer get to a whole bunch of people? Well, it's easy because, honestly, so I don't know what you mean by working from home. Or do you mean people are just getting on Zoom and listening to their teacher? Video conferencing takes very little bandwidth relative to, say, things like file transfers and stuff. So it's actually pretty easy for a school. A school needs less network to handle remote students than it would need to handle local students. Mainly because things change a little bit. When you're remoting in, your file transferring, for example, doesn't happen nearly as much as when you're local. Usually when people are remote, file storage and stuff like that is usually sitting on a cloud someplace. And except for the occasional where a file is actually brought from the cloud into the local system, most of the time, even that doesn't even really happen. The problem is there's so much complexity here to your question that it's hard for me to answer. But I will tell you this, it takes a lot less bandwidth to transfer a Zoom meeting to 100 people than it does to transfer one Word document to 100 people. Okay, there we go. Took me forever to get it out, but we got it. Jeremy Parker, have you played with the video card? You got, Jeremy, we haven't. So usually, when we get a new piece of higher end equipment like that, so not only are we going to install it, but at first we got to photograph it and do all these kinds of things to it. So no, it will probably be a month before any of us get to that thing. Alexandra, how do I pronounce your last name? Lady Zensky. Lady Zensky. How am I doing? Okay, what advice would you give to beginners studying A+ and time management, learning everything? Everything. Okay. Advice number one, in order for anybody to pass the A+, to pass any CompT exam, to pass any IT certification, in fact, pretty much to pass any form of certification in any type of trade, you're going to need three things. You need a book, you need videos or instructor-led training, those are interchangeable, and you need practice questions. You've got to have those three things. Can you do it without it? Yeah, probably. It's like the guy who says, I can beat you in golf with just 3 clubs and, a putter, a driver, and like a 6-iron. So technically you can play golf with only 3 clubs, but why? Why do that? You have those 3. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you. The other thing I'm going to tell you that you need to do, where are we at? The other thing you need to do is that you need to know who you are as a studier. So for A+, it takes about 220 hours of study for the average person to be able to pass the A+. But I can't tell you how to study. I guess I could tell you some things, but more importantly is, and what I recommend to people is that they schedule their exam. Look, it's going to take you 220 hours, okay? If you're using my A+ book, I got big tables in the front that actually help you calculate all this. So let's say it takes 300 hours because you have like no experience at all. So how many hours a week can you study? Can you study 5 hours a week? That means it's going to take you 60 weeks or a little over a year. Okay, so maybe you can do a little bit better than 5. So you figure that whatever that is, and you do that calculation, and you go, okay, it's going to take me 10 weeks, let's say, at 60 hours a week. I don't know. I can't stop yawning. I'm so sorry. I do this every time, guys. I don't know why it is. So you calculate that out and you get some date in the future, and that's, give yourself a week to compensate and then put your money down and schedule the exam. So many people will say to me, Mike, I'm having serious study habits. Most of the time when people tell me that, they're very young people, like teenagers, late teenagers, 16, 17, 18 years old. Not always, but most of the time. And the problem is you've never felt the heat. So you want to feel some heat? Go ahead and put, $200 down for one of the A+ tests and you'll study. Absolutely guarantee it. Alex at 209. Mike, you need to improve your customer support. Okay, this ought to be good. Sent an email saying that I couldn't register to Total Sem due to my country is not listed on the form, and I'm still not receiving any email for 2 days. All right, so Alex, here's what you're going to do, my friend. Oh, no, you're... Give me just a second. I'm getting some information up for you, Alex. Okay, I think we got it. Here we go. So, Alex, what I need you to do is contact me. My email is michaelm@totalsem.com. Alex, what I'd recommend you do is send your email again today and CC me. We'll see what happens. Keep in mind, guys, I don't have any control. I may be the face, but I have no control. I have no power over anything. At all. Really. Don't sign bad contracts, okay? That's all I can say about that. Anyway, the bottom line is that I can forward this information to other people, but I'll do what I can. But you should never really talk to me about technical support because they're not even, they're just a different group of people. So, folks like Dave and I have a pleasant working relationship, but I'm not even Dave's boss. How's that for a interesting combination? So that's the best we can do for you, Alex. CC me and I'll try to help. I put a comment on just to hear the noise from Mike's PC on the live stream. Hello, adventurer. CW Hamster, traffic over the internet. Jason Helms is here. The Farm Bee, do I speak fluent Linux? No, but I can order a beer. You got to keep in mind, to say I speak fluent Linux, do I speak fluent Windows? I'm pretty good. It's just, the funny part is in today's society, it's kind of almost a waste of time to memorize clicks or steps or processes, mainly because A, stuff changes all the time. It always has, though. But B, you have something that I didn't have when I started in the very early 90s. Very early 90s, late 80s, depending on who you talk to. In PCs. With PCs, it would have been 81. I did work on the original IBM PC when it came out and some of the stuff before that. But the other challenge you run into is trying to think of a good way to say this that makes sense. The language is always changing, and the internet makes it easy to not have to memorize a lot of stuff that you used to have to memorize. So I don't spend a lot of time memorizing repair processes or anything like that because I can always just Google something. I got to tell you guys, you can't believe how ugly life was to be a PC repair guy before the internet. Imagine just trying to get device drivers. God. You never threw away a floppy disk or a CD-ROM because you never knew when you might need that driver. Life is better now. 7-second delay confirmed. I don't know what that means. Yes, folks who are just showing up, do keep in mind, we will be giving away practice questions today, and we will also be giving away an international CompTIA voucher, good for any CompTIA exam. Oh, it looks like Dave Rush is helping my friend Alex out. Good to see that. Henry D. Heavy D. Good Lord. What third-party software would you recommend for viewing a blueprint of my home network? So, I mean, network mapping works on, I don't care whether it's a little home network or a huge enterprise network. Network mapping is a pricey thing. I would never turn to a tool and just have this handed to me. What I would be more interested in is using things like with search for IP addresses. 99% of mapping out a network you don't know is locating IP addresses. And there's lots of wonderful, Angry IP Scanner is an ancient but still wonderful tool that does a really good job of scanning IPv4 networks. There is no such thing as a pure IPv6 network, so you can always do IPv4. But the way you phrase the question, Heavy D, for viewing a blueprint, Heavy D, our job is we make the blueprints. That's why you and I get paid. When we're designing networks, we're the ones who set all this stuff up. Tools like Visio, for example, can make that job easier and prettier, but it's our job. There's nothing that just... There are no tools that hand information to me the way I usually want to see it. And as a result, I'm usually doing stuff by hand. I like it. Visio, and I got to tell you, when it comes to laying out network designs, PowerPoint is great. Hugh Watmite. When you create a RAID 10 array in section... Oh, God. Hugh, I've slept since then. The maximum space was 2 terabytes for a 4 terabyte setup. Is the space not used still available? Or is the entire 16 terabytes? All right, so it's a RAID 10 array. So it is a stripe of a mirror. Okay, so you got 4 terabyte drives, right? But these two are mirrored, okay? So it's almost as though 2 of the hard drives disappear. So in that case, you only have, they're 4 terabytes. So I have 2 4 terabyte drives. However, Hugh, that doesn't sound right to me. I'm going to have to look at this. 2 mirrors, and then they're striped. So if you have 2 stripes of 4 each, then I have a total amount of 8 terabytes of storage. It's 8 terabytes. Hugh, I need your help. I don't like what I'm seeing right here. Number one, Hugh, would you do me a favor? I need to know where you saw this. Did it come from a video? Did it come from a book? If it came from a video, what video? Did it something you saw for free online? If you bought something like from Udemy or one of our many wonderful customers, was it in there? If it was in Udemy, do you know which course it was, which video it was? Okay? So you can't, it's literally impossible for me to do this much searching. when I make a video, I can look at one master video, and I can look at that, and I don't even know if this is a video. Are you talking about a book? I don't. And Hugh, I know I apologize. I don't remember talking. I mean, I talk about rate all the time, and I don't remember the context. So Hugh, we're gonna have to take a look at that. Dave Rush, can you work with you and maybe we can get some details on that? But it should be the quick thing I'm saying to myself: 4 terabytes, 2 are mirrored, 2 are striped. Then I would think that would be 8 terabytes. Right? Striped? I think that's right. Oh, Dave Rush just answered me. The problem was in the A+ course. So I guess we're talking the video series. Oh, that was a good question. Okay, thank you, Dave. Dave Rush gave me the answer in the back channel. On that particular situation, and I do not know of this one, I apologize, I'll have to check it out. The controller itself had a 2 terabyte limitation. So it doesn't matter what kind of RAID you had. The most you'll ever get is 2 terabytes, Hugh. Man, Dave, I'd love to read that question with you just to make sure it's right, because that's kind of a wacky thing. But anyway, that's the answer. T.D. Washington just snuck in. Mohammed just snuck in. Alex James, do you have any courses on pen test? I don't know. Guys, I got to be honest with you. Total Seminars does lots of stuff that I'm not privy to. And unfortunately, all of our passwords have changed, and I can't even check that. I don't know if Total Seminars has a Pen Test Plus course or not. Maybe somebody will post into the thing and let you know. Ann McGee. Hello, Ann. I was watching your video today, subnetting with CIDR. When I have a WAC 26 subnet, you said you could have 4 subnets. Okay. Oh, boy. And I'm going to tell you, all right, let's try to do this. So let's start with a WAC 24, okay? So that's 255, 255, 2550. Man, I have to assume that you've read enough that when I say things like WAC 24 and WAC 26, you know what I mean. So when you start with a WAC 24 subnet, so if you start with the WAC 24 and you subnet, the entire process of subnetting is extending the subnet mask from 24 to 25, 24 to 25 to 26, 24, 25, 26. Maybe you have start with a bigger subnet. You go from 8 to 9, 8 to 10. You get the idea? All subnetting starts with a subnet mask that you just keep extending until you get the number of subnets you want. That's all subnetting is. That's it. So you will always start with one subnet with a certain subnet mask, and you start adding stuff to it. So Ann, if I start with a WAC 24, okay, and I'm going to go out, I'm guessing. Let's go out 2, all right? 1, 2. How many subnets do you get? And you have to count the 2 new digits that just appeared in the subnet. You don't have one 24-bit subnet anymore, Ann. You have 001, 012, 103, 11. You have 4 WAC 26 subnets. You don't have one 24-bit subnet anymore, Ann. You have, in this case, because we moved the subnet mask 2 times, you have 4 WAC 26 subnets. Now, a big part of doing subnetting is then you got to go back, do the math, and go, okay, fine. So I started with 192.168.4, which is a WAC 24. What are the ranges for my 4 new subnets? Well, the first one would be, it would be 00 on the last value, right? So it would be 00 followed by all zeros, so it would be 192.168.4.0 to, I can't do this in my head, 128, 63. That's 00 followed by 6 ones. Yes. So that first subnet would be 192.168.4 WAC 26, and it would start with 192.168.4.0 all the way to 192.168.4.63. That's because I do it a lot, Ann, and we have some wonderful videos here in the Total Seminars channel that we go over example after example after example of subnetting. And that's the big secret. And whenever you're doing subnetting, you're taking one subnet and breaking it down into more than one subnet. So let's say you start with a WAC 16 subnet. So you've got 192.168 WAC 16. So if you want more subnets, you keep adding more ones to the subnet mask. So you go from 16 to 17. So you'd have two 17 networks, one that started with 0, one that started with 1. Or you move it to, you get the idea? So that's all that means. One of the other things you might want to consider, and after you watch those videos that are already here, great videos, don't forget we have a wonderful Discord channel here where we can actually go through examples for you and help you do a little bit more practice. Discord channel is a great thing. You new guys, you need to check out this Discord channel. It is absolutely great. Dave, if you could post something up on the Discord channel, let me know. That'd be great. Alexander, you said 220 hours. Is that for both exams? Alexander, do not use the terms part 1 and part 2. This is semantics, but it's important. This is for the 220-1001 and the 220-1002. Where'd you go? So that's 220 total hours for both exams combined. And don't ask me to break it down more than that. Guys, I don't separate the exams in my brain. I just don't. When I take the A+, I take them both in one sitting. One right after the other. Boom, boom. I don't see any motivation to separate them. Like for example, if you want to talk about what's on the 220-1001 in terms of hard drives, well, it's going to be talking about things like SATA and AT-API and disk storage, that type of thing. But on the 220-1002, they're going to be talking about partitions, clustering, formats, file formats, that kind of a thing. So I got a question for you. If you want to study for the A+, are you going to you're going to study hard drives? I think that's probably a good thing, mass storage. You're going to study this much and then just stop, take a test, and then go ahead and learn about partitioning and stuff like that? That doesn't make any sense to me. It never did. And for over 20 years, I've been telling people, always take both tests at once. Some people are just bound and determined, like, nope, I want to take one test at a time. I'm going to improve my chances. First of all, that's a lie, because by trying to split the exams, you reduce your chances of success, mainly because you're so bent out of shape trying to separate the two exams. You're like, oh, I can't talk about hard drives anymore. I got to stop, because I'm studying the 220-1001, and part formatting isn't on there, so I'm just going to stop. Nah. Go get somebody else's training materials if that's the way you look at it. I will say that it's possible to do that. And it's not as ugly as it used to be. With the 1001 and 1002 A+ exams, it's better than it used to be. However, I still am a believer taking both exams at once. That's what I got to say. Jay Veller from Nevada. Are you from Gerlach by any chance, Jay Veller? Sahil. The Farm Bee, I didn't see this. You speak several dialects of Windows. That's pretty funny. And subnetting is amazing. You'll get there. Brian Baggs, I remember trying to get drivers on a 3.36 modem. Me too, my friend. And I was excited, Brian, because I didn't have to write a letter. I would literally be able to connect to this thing called the internet and download a driver for this thing called Windows. Oh God, here you guys going. No, Mohammed's talking about Windows 95 13 floppy disk. Ha! Mohammed, first of all, they were 1.44s, not 2.44s. And I can still beat you with that. I installed OS2 Warp in 1990 and it came with 27 floppy disks. Yipe. Can you make any projections on technologies we might see in the next 30 years? No. I'm terrible at predicting technologies, and then worse than that, the technologies that do appear, I never saw coming. I got to tell you guys, I remember when USB came out. And when USB first came out, nobody knew what to do with it. I mean, why I couldn't wrap my head around the idea of USB. Because I had serial ports and PS2 ports and parallel ports. Why would anybody want to? I don't know. They do. It's just funny, guys. Motherboards are notorious for having technology that never gets really popular. Anybody who's ever installed a motherboard can talk about this one weird connector or something on there. And I remember seeing USB going, who's going to use that? Chris Harris, can you make any? The one thing I will say, Chris, that I think we're getting pretty close to is I just had a big jump. The one thing I will say that is going to happen is I do believe that computing power is going to become, in essence, invisible. That whatever is doing our processing will not manifest easily as a physical device in one way or another. That we're not going to see it. It's going to be terminals and cameras. Oh yeah, speaking of, guys, so I'm going to keep I've got the Samsung the Fold phone, but I went and bought an old Pixel 4a, and I'm going to install non-Google operating system on it because I'm getting a little worried about Big Brother more than ever. And it was interesting. I was doing some research, and it's like, well, what's the right kind of phone to put in one of these? There's many, many alternative operating systems to Android, folks. And so I was asking around. I looked actually on Reddit, has a surprisingly good subreddit on stuff like this. But there were a couple other sites I go to. And I said, what is the best phone to use to get rid of Google? And when they told me a Pixel, they said the Google Pixel is one of the best phones. Isn't that hilarious? I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. Google works pretty hard to keep their hardware standardized. You know, they do a lot of scary stuff in their Android. But how are we doing on time? 2:30 already. Man, how could we halfway through the day? Alexandra Ladizerski, how many hours are needed for Net Plus? You know, Alexandra, sometimes we have issues on this. I always say it's about 140, but some people might disagree with me. 140 hours for the Network Plus. Alex James, with the new test coming out in September, Alex James, the Network Plus is already out and has been for a while. Sorry, just checking notation here. What did I literally just say? Yeah, okay, Dave Rush has already got that covered. Alex, Dave Rush has got you covered. It's already out. It came out last September. I personally would be comfortable taking either exam right now. Nobody cares what exam you take. Nobody cares. No one's ever going to ask. I mean, if someone really asks, tell them the truth. You don't want to lie about it. But what most people are interested in is, when did you take the test? How many years ago did you get certified in that? And it doesn't matter. Older tests tend to be better documented than newer tests, but the 008's been out long enough now that I stand by all of our training materials. I'm very happy with them. Engineer God. There's a modest name. I just took the 1001 and failed. Ooh. There are a lot of printer questions, Engineer God. We have an entire chapter that works on printers. And yeah, you definitely got some printer questions in there. Make sure you know the 6-step laser printing process and stuff like that. Hewlett-Packard is a major contributor to CompTIA, as is Lexmark. No, yeah, Engineer God, listen, don't call yourself stupid. There isn't a person in this thing who hasn't, screwed up a certification exam. I fail 1 out of 3 exams, okay? Mainly because I'm cocky. That's the main reason. The number one reason people fail CompTIA exams, number one reason is test anxiety. The number two reason people fail exams is because they know too much. And it's only number three is lack of knowledge for people failing CompTIA. I don't know. David Mohan. Jason Dion said that exams closer to retiring becomes harder. I would have to respectfully disagree. David, I've never seen anything like that, but I do respect Jason Dion, you know. I'd be curious why he said that. David Rush. Jason is wrong, David Mohan. We had Stranger from CompTIA address that. Did we, Dave? I don't remember. I completely trust you. Brian Beggs. The only way you can learn is by making mistakes. So tell me about that. I just seem to be an expert at it. Okay. Engineer God. Name is unrelated to real life. Okay. So guys, this is fun, but let's give some stuff away. All right, so the problem is, guys, I do not have access to practice questions today. We've been changing a lot of passwords around here, and some of these passwords are ones that I haven't changed in a long time. So unfortunately, I don't have access to practice questions, so I'll make something up. All right, guys, we're going to have a competition. In fact, we're going to have 2 competitions in a row, okay? The first competition is going to give away 90-day access to the Total Seminars practice questions of your choice. We have lots and lots of practice questions of different ones. We certainly have all the biggies, but lots of in there, and you can, you'll be able to pick whoever wins, all right? The only rule on the competitions are I'm going to say something, and the first person who puts the right answer up wins. If you're the first person on your screen, that doesn't mean you're the first person on my screen, okay? So there's always somebody who complains that this is unfair. Well, you know, welcome. I do my best. I'm giving away free stuff as fairly and equitably as I can. You get the impression we got some people yelling at us? By the way, on Monday, we had 2 winners for practice questions and a voucher. Neither of those winners even bothered to send Dave Rush an email. Somebody's leaving a $400 voucher on the ground because they don't want to email Dave Rush. We'll give them another week or so, but you know, we do hope that they got. I don't remember who it was. Nancy Scarton. Kathy must be putting her foot down. Actually, Kathy is doing very little of the award stuff anymore. Dave Rush is handling most of it, but it was David Mohan, the first person to say pass wins. Okay. Let's get an interesting, valuable question. Give me a second. All right, guys, what do you want me to quiz you on? What topic? Pick a topic. Oh, wait, hang on. Pick a certification you want me to test you on. Seriously, type in, we want Net Plus question, I want an A Plus question, I want a CYSA question. I'm going to give you guys a minute to I think I might have a fun one. Let's see what people want to do. A lot of A+, a lot more A+ than I would have thought. Okay, I'll tell you what. We'll do 1 A+ and we'll do 1 Net Plus. Let's go ahead and start by doing a Network Plus question. Is everybody ready? Here comes a Network Plus question. Actually, this would almost be an A+ question too. You guys ready? I need the names of 3 different fiber optic connector types. There's a lot more than 3 people, but give me the names of 3 of them. Here you can just use the letters that describe them. So the first person to write down 3 different types of fiber optic connectors that I can recognize and know that they're good is going to win 90-day access to the Total Seminars practice questions of their choice. So let's see what happens. FC. Dave Rush, I need help. Oak brand grape nut special K. David Mohan, do not pick A, B, C, or D. Funny kid. All right, so who do we have for a winner here? Let's see. We have a winner. Yeah, I know, Jared. I was watching you, buddy. Sorry. All right. Dave Rush. Okay, I'm just going to call the winner here. You guys ready? And the winner today is Savage Cabbage. Savage Cabbage did LC, SC, and ST. Savage Cabbage, congratulations to you. You are the winner of 90-day access. Uh-oh. Dave, okay. Dave, we're just going to have to go with me. Savage Cabbage is the winner. Savage Cabbage, congratulations to you. Now, Savage Cabbage, in order to claim your prize, you've got to, number one, send an email to my buddy Dave Rush. That's DAVER at totalsem.com. In that email, put your YouTube name. So I want to see Savage Cabbage in the body of the email. Number two, put your email address. But Mike, I'm sending you an email. Can't you just use the return email? No, because everybody doesn't do that. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we need to change it. And it's like, why are we giving stuff away and otherwise being a pain in the butt? Put your email in there as well. And then third, obviously you're going to put which practice exam you want because we want to give you the practice exams that you want. So just let Dave know. Do you want the A+, Network Plus, whatever you want. If it's in our catalog, most of them are, you get 90-day free access. Dave will send you an email, and you'll use that email to log in and have fun. So, Savage Cabbage, congratulations to you. I am proud of you for doing such a great job. In fact, that was so much fun. I'm thinking we need to do, whoopsies, let's do another competition. Now, you guys said A+ and Net Plus, so we'll do an A+. We will do an A+ question. Can Mike just do one off the top of his head? Thinking. I've always said the worst part about this AMA is our practice questions, especially when I don't have access to our test bank, which is a little frustrating. But okay, Mike, you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Or we could do a wacky one, but you guys will all get mad. I can't have any fun because somebody will sit there and go, Mike Myers. Just for funsies, I was going to do name every size of floppy drive, but I'm not going to do that. We'll do something that's more realistic. Thinking, I can't. Like me and Dave were literally talking before this. I go, I got to get some questions ready. He goes, just pulling off the practice questions. I got this. I can do a question. Nancy Scarton. The wheels in Mike's head go round and round. They truly do. Tom Pinkerton's giving me trouble too. Does the 50% off tape deal apply to simulation labs? Sadly, no, not the simulations, only the multiple choice practice questions. Do routing questions. Alex says do routing questions. Okay. Let's do a routing question. We're going to do a dynamic routing question. You ready? I need someone to name the oldest dynamic routing protocol that you know of. Okay? Name the oldest dynamic routing protocol that you know of. And if it matches with what I'm thinking, you'll win. All right? I'm trying to communicate with Dave Rush, but I'm afraid I'm saying things in such a way via text that he's not. Hold on. The judges are conferring, folks. Okay. All right, so yes, the answer is RIP, but I'm going to give, not only is this A plus laugh, see my house. Okay, so, oh shoot, potato slice? You know it's not an A plus question. Oh well, like I said, it's not fair. All right, so anyway, Mr. G is the winner with RIP version 1. Not only did he say RIP, which I'm impressed, but more importantly, he even said RIP version 1 because there are 2 versions of RIP. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's a net plus question, not a A plus, but oh well. You messed up. You trusted me. So anyway, Mr. G, congratulations to you. You have won one CompTIA voucher. This is an international voucher. It works anywhere. If CompTIA is giving exams in that country, you can use that voucher. It works for any CompTIA exam. We were having some problems with CYSA Plus. So if you want to use this voucher for CYSA Plus, I recommend you contact CompTIA first, www.comptia.org. They have a wonderful contact area. And so that's good. So anyway, Mr. G, let me give you the information you need to claim your prize. All right, here we go. Mr. G, number 1. Mr. G, you're going to have to send an email to Dave Rush. That's DAVER at total7.com. In this email, put your YouTube name, put your email address in the body of the email. Number 3, put the exact name as on previous CompTIA certifications. If you've never done a CompTIA certification, then just use your formal name, like how you'd sign a contract. Next, the country, not the county, the country where you reside. And if you're a U.S. resident, go ahead and put the state in there as well. Second to last, put the country where you will take the exam. Yes, there are some people who live in one country and then take the exam in another country. That's why that's in there. And then also the exact exam number. So do things like, so write in there like you want the A plus 220-1002, don't just say A plus. Mike, is this voucher good for both A plus tests? Nope, only one. But it gets you halfway there and it's free. So again, congratulations to you, Mr. G. You win. All right. Tom Pinkerton is a funny, funny guy. 3 versions of RIP. RIP 1, RIP 2, and RIPing. It's a good point, yeah. Yeah, Mr. G, big winner. Hey guys, do keep in mind that we give away free practice questions and free CompTIA vouchers every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And as you can see, we don't get a real big crowd here. So if you're looking to get vouchers, well, you are welcome. However, like my good friend David Mohan will tell you, if you answer too many questions right, we eventually cut you off. Guys, the reason I'm giving stuff away is I want to help people out. I don't want to let 1 or 2 or 3 people win everything. So there's a good chance after you win a certain amount, we kind of let newer people. So the newer you are, the better your chances are of winning practice questions and vouchers. And again, keep in mind, I'm here on Mondays and Wednesdays, but Dave Rush is right here on the Total Seminars channel on Fridays at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. Dave concentrates on Raspberry Pis. Now you might say to yourself, well, Mike, I have no interest in Raspberry Pis. I'm studying for my A+. You're the one who needs Dave Rush's course more than anybody else. Dave Rush uses Raspberry Pis to replace expensive equipment is really what it boils down to. And he's done a great job. He's been doing this for well over a year. And Dave gets even less people than me. So if you want a really good chance of winning a CompTIA voucher, show up at Dave's on Friday. It's a wonderfully interesting course. Dave, I've watched you many times and enjoy it. Brian Banks will be back on Friday. Blacko YJ at 250. Is NetPlus more good for the cybersecurity career as a first step in the field? NetPlus is more good as a cyber career. It is usually not the first step in a field. Most people go with A+. You don't have to. I mean, I know people who go straight into Security Plus, but they have to have a lot of good knowledge about systems before they can do that. I have seen many people do Net Plus than Security Plus, and they are successful. But again, you need some good core basic understandings before you get into that. I'll rephrase that. I've seen a lot of people skip A Plus and go straight to Net Plus and been successful. David Mohan, you've won enough because you're a very skilled technician, and you're a contributor and someone who I actually look forward to seeing on my AMAs and such. So, David, you do good. And David, you're not the only one that we've had to. In fact, David, your last name is now a verb. We call it to be Mohan. And that means you've won so much that we're kind of like, get out of here. Kenneth Johnson, if you've just gotten your A+, would you recommend an MSP as a first job or something different? I love MSP jobs. And in fact, they're quickly turning into, and by MSP, I assume you mean Managed Security Provider. You don't mean Microsoft Certified Professional. Got to be careful with acronyms around me. But MSP is quickly becoming the way that baby techs get into IT security. They're nice because these MSPs invariably have a SOC that they're working in, Security Operations Center. And Dave, isn't that what I said? Managed Service Provider? What did I say? Oh, well. Managed Service Provider. If I said something different, I apologize. Anyway, the bottom line is that they are a great place. You're working with a boss who's directly there to help you, and it's a great place to start. Yeah. Yes. Experience is king. Nikash Nandu can never argue that one. CW Hamster. Mike, your opinion of help desk for experience? It's fine. Help desk is a pretty common. In fact, there's not a whole lot of difference between working at an MSP and working at a help desk, at least at first. With an MSP, you're not dealing with people nearly as much. Whereas with a help desk, you're pretty much only dealing with people. But either way works. Colin Stevens, tape is not updating my order total for the 8th edition Network Plus. Dave Rush, can you help Colin Stevens at 253? I don't even know what tape is. What is tape? Is that our code for the day? Okay. All right. Well, guys, it seems like we're already getting close to the end of the day. Here it is, 2:54. Questions have slowed down. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Folks, do keep in mind we have a wonderful Discord channel. Please check that out. David has multiple posts in the chat window to get to the Discord. It's become very popular, and we would love to see you there. Please come aboard. And in particular, like if you have really like more complicated questions, that Discord channel is the place to go. There's a lot of great techs in there. I don't mean to. There are a lot of people on this Total Seminars channel today, right now, who I would say are better techs than me. And I am not at all ashamed to say that. But please check out the Discord channel. It's just an absolute wonderful, wonderful place. We will... Nikash Nandu, how do you recover data from a clicking hard drive? Well, Nikash, most of the time, if the hard drive's clicking, it's already too late. There are two types of people on this earth. There are those who do backups, and there are those who cry. So once your hard drive is clicking and no longer easily accessible, it's probably already at a place where you're going to have to take it to a data recovery service. The one thing I will tell you is that data recovery has dropped in price dramatically over the last 10 years. Whereas it used to be that the only time I would use data recovery is it's like, we have got to recover this accounting database or this customer list. But today I've seen people, it's like, I really want those pictures and the hard drive's clicking and usually for it's not that expensive anymore. $200, $300. Okay, I mean, it's not cheap, but you can take hard drives to get recovered that are recovering data that's May not make you cry, but because it's cheap enough, you could just go ahead and get it. I'm not going to recommend any drive recovery. There's a lot of good ones out there, but that would probably be the way I would go. Toll with clicking drive in the freezer. Yeah, I don't know if that ever actually worked. But Nakash, back up before the drive clicks is the right answer. All right, I am out the door here, guys. Please do come back next Monday. Hopefully I'll be in a new studio, fingers crossed. We're actually, after 2 years of Corona, I'm moving back into the office, folks. So I'm just in a spare office right now, but we're getting some studio. We're getting a major upgrade in our primary studio where I shoot my certification videos. But we're going to set up another little space for me in another spot. And hopefully, when you guys see me on Monday, we'll be in a new place, and it'll be fun and exciting, and I am filled with happiness. Folks, I am out the door. Y'all be good, and I will talk to you again soon. Until then, this is Mike Meyers saying bye-bye, bye-bye.